10 toes down, I'm a ride with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Anything I do for the gang. 10 toes down, I'm a ride with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Anything I do.
Okay, so the first thing I've got to do is get these, here's the two molds I'll be using. I've got the outer skin, the inner skin. So I've just got to prep them, get them cleaned up. I'm going to put some tape around the perimeter, because when I put the gel coat on, I don't want the gel coat around the edges, so I want to get a nice good seal with the vacuum tape. So I'm going to leave that just bare fiberglass, so that's protected by the tape. Let's give it a bit of a wipe down there. Because I use a semi-permanent release agent, I don't have to keep applying it through each part I make. I'll probably get between 5 and 10 pulls before I have to reapply the release agent. So it's already had some fresh release agent on it about 2 parts ago, so there's plenty of release back on it. So just get it taped up and then we can start applying the gel coat. Okay, so that's the molds all prepped and ready now. So now's the time to mix the gel coat, which I'm going to be using the Easy Composites, the GC50 epoxy compatible polyester gel coat. So I'm just going to brush that on, so I'll get that mixed up now and get it applied. Let's get on with that. Right, so it's the following day. I've let this gel coat cure now, it's dry to the touch. Got a nice even coverage. You have to do a bit of work and try and get an even sort of finish. You get a couple of brush strokes on the edges, but as long as you've got an even coverage, it'll look fine. Like on the bigger parts, I tend to spray the gel coat on purely because the gel coat flashes off really quick. So with a spraying method, you do get a better finish, but it's a lot faster. But for something like this, it's not a problem at all. Like, you'll see when it's done, the finish will be, you wouldn't notice a difference, it'll look fine. But now, so the next job is to get some carbon off the rolls. I'm going to use a 2x2 twill on the presentable layer, and then we're going to go on with a thick herringbone carbon for the backing layer to give it a bit of strength. But yeah, so now you're going to see me lay it up nice and neat and start laying up the stack for the infusion. So let's cut some carbon.
I can't believe that you came into my life. You made me feel again. Now it's my turn. You say you've always been a little bit shy, but I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you? I know it's hard for you to give it a try, but you are not alone. I'm here with you. I think you owe it to this beautiful night to lose all your control. Do it for you. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you
Right, so that's the carbon all laid up. It's all nice and neat. I've tried to rotate the direction of the weave just to help with strength, and try to push the carbon in as best I can into the nooks and crannies to avoid any voids. So I'm happy with that. That seems to be good. I used this spray adhesive, Aerofix 3 from Solvay, previously Cytec. I find that is really good for sticking the fabric and hold it in place as you lay it the stack. A lot of people have messaged on the videos saying that, does it leave any discoloration or imprints? You've seen how much I use. It's enough to hold it in place, and you will not see that on the finished product. I imagine that if you just sprayed it constantly in the same area, then you are going to get a bit of discoloration and a print out on it. But if that's what's going to happen, then you really shouldn't be messing about with carbon. So if you use it as it's supposed to be used, it's fine. Highly recommend it. So now we've got the carbon in place, we need to put down the flow media. When you see me make carbon roofs, they're usually bonded into place, which means on the inside surface, I need to leave it with an abrasive finish for secondary bonding. Now, because this isn't going to be bonded together, it's actually bolted so that you can remove it for commissioning. I can use another material called Infuply, which is this stuff, and it's really clever. I've just got some offcuts here I'm going to use, but it saves a lot of time manufacturing. So what it is, you've got the flow media on one side, and on the inside you've got a perforated release film. So the beauty of this is I can just lay this down in situ, use the spray tack again to hold it in place, put the inlet and the outlet with the spiral wrap, and that's it. That's all you need to do for the stack. Just put the vacuum bag on, get it sealed, and away you go. You won't get the nice finish on the inside, which is not very good for secondary bonding because it's got a release film on it. You get like a smooth glaze to it. You could get a good finish if you sanded it, but that's labour. And the whole purpose of this is to remove the labour involved with applying an extra layer to that stack. So what this does is it's freeing up time in the manufacturing process, and it's less material used to create the product, which means that the product is cheaper to sell, which is a benefit for all the customers. So it's a win-win. But that's why I'm using this material. So I'm going to lay it down now, get the vacuum bag on with the inlet and the outlet with the spiral wrap, and then we can start the infusion. So let's get on with that.
There's like a mist out. I don't dare to run to you. What if I get swallowed up by something we can't see? I was out in the night when something grabbed me. I swear it hurt. Kind of felt like something cold, but it stabbed me. The streets are playing with my mind. I'm losing everything in sight. Time stands still as we go blind. We're losing everything. Streets are playing with my mind. I'm losing everything in sight. Time stands still as we go blind. We're losing everything. Whoa, I wonder if you dare. Whoa, no more nightmares. I hold my breath and say a prayer. Dear God, from now on I'll be good. No more wars, no more lonesome cries. I'll volunteer in the neighborhood. The streets are playing with my mind.
Right, so that's it. It's all laid up now. The vacuum bag's now under vacuum. It's been like that for a while now. So there's no leaks. There's no bridging. So it's nice and snug in there. I just thought I'd give a quick bit of an explanation as to why I've done what I've done, if you like. So when I was doing the pleats, if you notice, I put the corners down first. Then I did one side with a pleat, went to the other side, did a pleat, and so forth. So on the long sides here, I did this side, that side, and then any excess just do in the middle. I've said it before, there's no right or wrong way to do this. There's just ways that you find that works for you, and this is the way that I find to do it. And doing it that way means you can't really not get it symmetrical, because you're doing one side and the other side and you're working your way to the middle. 9 times out of 10 it's going to be symmetrical, which is ideally what you want. I mean, with this sort of shape, you've got not much of a void here, but you've got a big recess there, so you don't really need a big pleat here. This, it's a bit excessive, but you would need it bigger over here to allow the extra bag to fall in there and follow the profile and the contours. But because I've gone with such a big vacuum bag, it doesn't matter. So the process of this one is, it's going to go the inlet here, resin's going to flow down here into the vacuum and into the catch pot. I've seen a lot of other people doing different methods. Some actually stop the infusion mesh here, and it's called a resin break. For me, it doesn't work. I find the best way to do it is to allow the resin to go through, and then I'll keep pulling the resin out into the catch pot until I can't see any more air. That way I know there's no more air in the part, and there's no air that can flow into the main part and spoil it. The amount of resin I'll be pulling through is literally, it's grams. But I'd rather waste a bit of resin knowing that I've pretty much nailed a good part. I mean, that's what the catch pot's there for. The catch pot's not there just in case resin goes through there. In my opinion, it's there to catch the resin. So like I say, for me, I find this works better for me. Pull a bit of resin through, sacrificial, but you get a good part of it. When I've tried just stopping the infusion when the resin gets to here, there's still air here. Even though you can't see it, there is still air there. And there is a risk it can get into the part. So just remove the risk. I've also gone in this direction so that the most vacuum will be under here, and it'll pull the air up away from the part. So again, it's just trying to encourage the air to come away from the presentable part and into the sacrificial area around the outside, because air does rise, which is common sense. So I'm going to mix up some resin now, and I think I'll be using around about 900 grams to a kilo of resin, and this will be quite interesting to show you how much resin actually gets ripped off the part. So when I weigh the part once it's all done, you'll see that there's quite a lot of wastage to get a good part. But yeah, let's get some resin mixed up and let's start the infusion. Right, that's the infusion done. It's a little bit soul destroying when it goes so fast after spending all that time laying it up, but so far so good. That was a smooth infusion. We can see it's all nicely saturated and wetted out. You've got a few little bits here where it'll slowly draw to the edge. But we've got plenty of extra resin in there, and if you notice, I pulled a lot of resin through, but if you look in a spiral, there's literally no air in that whatsoever. So that's a little bit of waste going in the catch pot. But like I say, we've got a really good chance. Well, it's going to be a good product, a good part, hopefully. It's not over till the fat lady sings, and when you break it out, that's when you know it's good, because anything can happen now. You can have a pop in the bag, a leak, touch wood. But that's the outer shell done for now. Just got to let that cure. What I'm going to do now is repeat that process on the inner skin. So I don't need to talk you through that. You just enjoy the next little bit of a, not time lapse, but a fast video. Let's get on with it. Okay, so it's been 24 hours since the infusion. They've all fully cured now. The resin is completely solid. So the next job is to remove the vacuum bag and using a spatula, just try and tease the parts out of the mould, try not to damage it. But it should be pretty straightforward now, so let's get them out. Okay, so that's both of them popped out the moulds. Got a really nice finish with these now. The weave's in a really nice, neat direction. You can see how even though this was a brushed on gel coat, the finish is fine. So all that's left to do with these is going to screw them down, give them a really good polish, then I can start trimming them up. And I've also got a couple more ready to go. But first things first, got a very, very important job to do. Breakfast. And that's it, all done. So I've assembled the inner shell now with the directional vents, which can move 360 degrees. You've got your fluid drain there, got the debris guard as well, just to stop any leaves getting into it. It just makes it a lot easier to clean. So the top piece is all nicely polished up and trimmed up. I've included some assembly captive nut and bolts. So basically, when you install it, you cut a hole this size through your roof. Then that just sits from the outside in. So all you see inside the car is this part. This is on the outside of the car, all bonded to the actual roof. Then you slide this over the top of the shell, and when it's on the roof, you sand this bit to get the perfect profile, just so that this fits really nice and snug onto the roof surface. Then once you're happy with the fitment, you drill through this and the inner shell and just install it with these bolts. Dead simple, and it's a really nice way of making it fit the car perfectly. As you can see, there's no fiberglass in this, it's all 100% carbon fibre, unlike a lot of others that are on the market. Pure carbon fibre. But yeah, so I thought I'd just show you how I make them, and hopefully you've liked it. If you have, please subscribe to the channel, please share away, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.